Someone reaches out to you on LinkedIn with a job opportunity, you're first in cybersecurity, and it feels amazing. But how do you know that it's actually a legit opportunity with a legitimate company? In this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about how in some situations it could be a straight up scam trying to steal your information or have you install malware, or even more nefarious, it could be a cybercriminal organization trying to illegitimately recruit you into doing their dirty work and leaving themselves scot-free. So we're going to look at it. And the best part is I'm going to show you a resource that I just found out about that has an amazing list of legitimate entry-level positions coming up. Hey everybody, so on my LinkedIn feed the other day, I posed the question to the community, what question do you want me to ask? And I've got some amazing responses from members of the community, so thank you very much. More than I know what to do with. So I actually jotted down those questions and saved them for later episodes. But the one I selected was from Jessica Bishop. Now, Jessica asks, from the perspective of a cybersecurity student, I have read a lot of articles about cybercrime gangs using seemingly legitimate job posts and recruiters to lure newbies into doing their dirty work. She'd like to know how a newbie can recognize when this is happening and how to figure out if the company is legit. Now, this is a completely reasonable question, and I'm really glad. Thank you, Jessica, for asking. Now, I did a bit of research, and I really want to break this down into two different buckets of illegitimate jobs. One is the one that she's actually talking about where, Dark Overlord or Dark Side or, Evil Corp or whatever, reaches out under the auspices that they're an actual legitimate company and they're trying to vet you, hire you to do work. And in reality, they're setting you up for you to build a piece of the, malicious campaign without maybe you actually knowing. But research has also showed, and the FBI has reported on this, that there's actually like a massive amount of scams running on where fake jobs are posted, people posing as representatives of legitimate companies and working directly with candidates to get them to either A, give up their information, B, make financial contributions towards the process, which it sounds ridiculous, but we'll get into it. And stay tuned to the end, because as I mentioned in the teaser, Josh Mason told me about this website that is absolutely awesome. We're going to cover it, and it's literally just full of legitimate internships and entry-level jobs in the cybersecurity community, and I want you to be able to take advantage of that, so stay tuned. Now, if we haven't met, my name is Jerry Ozier, and this is Simply Cyber, the YouTube channel designed to help you make and take a cybersecurity career further, faster. And sometimes we do tech stuff, and sometimes we talk about industry-specific stuff just like today. So if that's interesting to you, hit subscribe. We release videos every Monday at noon. So Krebs just a few weeks ago did this interesting write-up on a Department of Justice indictment for a 55-year-old Latvian woman who is basically being charged with being an integral part in the TrickBot malicious software operating group. Now, for those of you who don't know, TrickBot has kind of been really popular lately with like the Emotet, TrickBot, Ryuk ransomware, kind of that three-banger of malicious campaign where the Emotet gets in and gets on you, TrickBot gets on and starts pulling, credentials and C2 traffic and, lateral movement and stuff like that, and then brings Ryuk down for a ransomware attack. So it's a pretty powerful piece of malware, pretty strong. Now, what's interesting is they've arrested this woman, but the question is how she was doing horrible OPSEC, right? She traveled to the US, which is where she got picked up in Miami. She was kind of open on social media and stuff. It really doesn't line up. And the argument is it possible that this group in particular is recruiting skilled developers who are, unbeknownst to them, being manipulated into doing malicious stuff? Now, there's actually in the DOJ filing in the indictment, they actually have grabbed co-conspirator text messages. They don't name the co-conspirators, but text messages. And they actually can see through the text messages that basically the candidates are giving a challenge like, hey, here's a problem. Write a piece of code that solves it. And what they're basically doing is, like any other business really, they're vetting the candidates for their capability to achieve the solution. Now, the particular problem that they're having them solve if you understand what you're doing, it becomes pretty obvious pretty quick that you're actually developing something that can be used in a malicious capacity, right? You're writing software that's intentionally hiding. You're writing software that is, hollowing out processes and spinning up your own kind of hidden processes. Maybe you're exfiltrating data, etc. Right? Like there's no viable, legitimate reason to do those type of things. So now the candidate is either get suspicious and at that point they kind of cut that person out, or the candidate kind of knows what's going on and keeps demonstrating capability. The opportunity for you to be illegitimately brought into a cybersecurity or cyber criminal kind of empire without you knowing seems highly unlikely. I feel like you would get a bit of an idea that, like, wait a minute, like, say you're a money mule. Like, what do you mean my job is to go to an ATM and pull money out? That seems weird. Or I'm writing this software and it's intentionally checking to see if it's being analyzed in a sandbox before it starts executing. Why am I doing that? Right? So I feel like, Jessica, that you would be less likely to get tripped up and unknowingly get wrapped up into this. Now, I do want to point out that some organizations, malicious empires, are actually quite overt and openly recruiting for cybersecurity criminal type activity end users, right? Like they're like legitimately open. Like, we've got this opportunity, you'll make a ton of money. And, like, they don't outright say that you're committing a crime, but, read between the lines, you're obviously committing a crime. But you can see here the Dark Overlord has underground adverts basically showing, hey, here's what the services are, here's what we'll pay. So it's almost like a it's almost like a consulting company that the Dark Overlord is running, where, you can come work for them and they'll give you $500 to $800 US if you hack an email, right? So, like, they'll get the work just like any other consulting firm and give it to you, and you hack the email and they'll give you $500 to $800. And who knows, maybe they're charging $1,200 to $1,600 for the service to the actual customer or client. Anyways, all of this to say that I feel like the likelihood of getting wrapped up without you knowing is unlikely. And I know that Marcus Hutchins and his whole situation after WannaCry, where he got arrested and everything, I know that there's a story written for Wired Magazine that kind of goes in to the fact of how he, as a teenager, accidentally got roped into writing malware, but he was consciously aware that he was doing it. He didn't want to do it. Let's jump into the second one, right? So the FBI just in April, a few months ago, actually warned or put out a legitimate warning to the community that cybercriminals are actually using fake job listings to target applicants in order to get their PII, right? So the ruse is, I put out a job post that says entry level, no college degree, no experience required, all applicants welcome, international's cool, like the sweetest, juiciest, click on me job or advert, right? And for people who are trying to break in the industry, this seems like something that they want to jump on, right? Well, the scammers are basically saying, okay, yeah, no problem. Like, here's the job thing, fill it out, put your social here, put your address here, maybe put a credit card here. We're going to use it to verify who you are. Some of the scammers will go a little bit further and say, hey, like, congratulations, Jessica. We're going to use you in this episode, Jessica. Congratulations, Jessica. You got the job, but we require you to purchase your own equipment, like your own laptop, right? But don't worry, because we offer a very good deal. We have a relationship with Apple. So for $800, you can purchase your MacBook Pro, and obviously you'll get to keep it after you leave the company, but we require that as part of our thing, right? Part of our policy. So then you send them $800, and then that's it. They're basically committing fraud, and then they can get your PII and open lines of credit. They can do other things, right? So just be cognizant of that. So that's kind of the job scam piece. Another element of the job scam that you should be aware of is some malicious actors are actually sending malware to people and saying like, oh, here's like a write-up on the job post. Here is what you got to do. Like, here's the code that, like we use to vet our candidates to see if they're technically qualified to complete the job. So just go ahead and run it or whatever. And it's exactly what you would think. It's like malware. It could be like a remote access Trojan. It could be anything, right? So just be cognizant. It's typical scammy stuff. It is what it is. I want to give a special shout out to one young special subscriber of the channel who made this sign for me to notify you to hit the bell for notifications. Make sure you subscribe and definitely comment if you can down below. I want to hear if you use the resources or if you've heard of any other type of scams, this type of thing. So special thanks to that subscriber. All right, so now let's talk about an amazing resource that Josh Mason told me about earlier today. Elon Wright, DFIR Diva, who has an amazing website. I totally recommend you check it out. Tons of great resources there. She actually created a site called getyourstartcareers.com. Now, this site basically has all sorts of information security, internship, and entry-level jobs listed in a very easy to access and kind of research way. I mean, look at all these different jobs, and it's unbelievable. The different filters you can have, including for current students, 100% remote, no degree required or degree required internship. So you can see we drill in here, and this is an amazing resource. I would strongly recommend you check this out. If you are in a position where you're trying to break in, you're trying to get your first job in the field, you know someone who's in that position, definitely share this with them. The link is in the description below. And thank you so much, Elon, for putting this together, because this is awesome. Okay. All right, everybody. If it feels wrong, there's probably something wrong. Definitely part of a cybersecurity mindset anyways, of kind of being risk averse, trust but verify. I hope no one falls for any of this scam stuff. And definitely check out the getyourstartcareers.com website that DFIR Divas put up, because I think it's an amazing resource that can help so many of you. Hey, be sure to subscribe, because we got a 6-part series coming up with Stefan Semmelroth in August, where we're going to take you through the entire cybersecurity job life cycle, from resume to interviews, negotiating your salary, and just so much more after that. I'm super pumped. We've recorded 4 of the 6 episodes, so you definitely don't want to miss that. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Thanks so much, and until next time, stay secure.